funny because every time I always do the review for Black Clover, I always make it when the next episode is going to come out tomorrow, so I'll try to be quicker, but either way, let's jump into the new episode. What's going on, everyone? It is Ranger Fun. Welcome everyone to my Black Clover episode 42 review. This episode, we get introduced and the start underwater temple arc, man. We've made it. We're here. I'm so happy. Man, just as a manga reader, I'm hoping they do this right, just because we are reaching the finale of Black Clover. It is confirmed for 50 episodes, and there's going to be 8 more after this. So I'll say it right here and right now, ladies and gentlemen, without posting spoilers or anything like that. This right here has the most action you are going to see from Black Clover that we've seen in animation. Of course, there's a whole lot in the manga that of course will be put into anime if it does, but as an arc in general, if you're a person that loves action in Black Clover, if it was a fight with, Asta versus the Eye of the Midnight Sun, or just, examples like that, you guys are seriously going to love this. And it's not just Asta's character that fights within this arc, it's just everyone around in the Black Bulls. So it's going to be awesome. We're going to be getting character development from everyone, not just the main character, but everyone that is a part of the Black Bulls. So I'm pretty excited just seeing this episode and them going to Underwater Temple. I know some stuff that is going to happen, but at the same exact time, it's going to be so good if they do it right, especially for the finale. And the animation, it was a little bit key on this point. I loved it. But yeah, for first part of this episode that we see is Noelle, which I've talked to her throughout the past 2 reviews now, is this is an arc for a lot of her development. Some characters, I'm not going to lie, are going to get more development from others, but everyone does get it all around. But Noelle's character, this shows throughout everything in Black Clover that we've seen so far that this is the first magic she was able to control, just because the training that she had to accomplish within a week is to bring all the Black Bulls, with their water creation magic into the temple, the underwater temple, which the mana is weak when the full moon rises, which she accomplishes her mission right there. And that is so big for her character looking into the series that hard work and training paid off. She finally found, a family that actually appreciates and what she does, no matter if she is a failure or not. So it was mostly a lot throughout there, kind of the first half, bringing all the Black Bulls to the Underwater Temple. Kind of some funny moments here or there, which a lot of this episode today was mostly comedy. It was built up to what the arc is going to be, and also, of course, just comedy stuff. That's what we get in Black Clover, but comedy was still good. We have Gray's character, which look after Gray, by the way. That's definitely a character you want to see throughout this arc. We just have funny moments of Finn, we have funny moments of Maidna, Lug, etc. like that when they're in the bubble. We see Charmy, which Charmy is so a lovable character. I feel like she's definitely one of my favorite characters in Black Clover just because, of her cuteness, and she always wants to eat. When she's staring up into the fish in this episode, literally the only thing she can think about is food. At that moment, you would think that, you're scared that, if this messes up, you're gonna die, you're gonna drown, but she just thinks about food. It's a good way for Charmy's character. We even have Gray transformed into Charmy to act just like her. So we have some funny moments right there. But mostly with this arc, we jump in and we see this barrier around underwater, which this barrier is a city. It's an underwater city that they see. And of course, Asta, to break it, he uses anti-magic sword, which Yami in this episode, he doesn't give a damn about anyone. He just throws Asta like a torpedo into this, and the Black Bulls arrive at the underwater city, which, is pretty cool. And you look at some characters right here, and you're like, don't some of these civilians look so similar to a character that we've seen? I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about when I say his or her name, but I'll just leave the episode and when we're gonna see them again. So we see that, in this underwater city, that they praise the Black Bulls. It's not just because they're magic knights, it's because they're people from the outside world, which they haven't seen anyone from the outside world in over 10 years. No one can come to this place. It's a really rare place to find. Number one, a lot of people don't know about it. 2, it's really hard to get to, just like Yomi says, because the mana is really powerful, and even high-class mages can't get to it, or they could drown. So mostly people can only come here when it's a full moon setting and the mana is weak. But no one really wants to come down here because, like I said, it's really strong. And you could potentially die if you do that. So, you know, they're getting a lot of fame and a lot of love and etc. like that. But their mostly goal is to find the High Priestess. Which the High Priestess, of course, you know, is a king of this city. And for them to, you know, go and accomplish their mission, which is getting the magic stone before the eye of the midnight sun. So when they're going to it, we see some of the villains be like, hopefully you come back, talk to us more, but you're not going to come back. Will they make it back? So you look at that question of, who is this High Priest guy? What do you mean? Like, are the Black Balls going to die? Are they not going to come back to the city for the civilians? What's going to happen right here? Which we get introduced to the High Priestess in this episode, and I love it so much. Like, the voice actor for the High Priestess, I absolutely love, just because in the manga, he is a crazy old man. He is like, he's insane. He's really insane. All he wants is to play games, and it's mostly, like I said before in this review, that a lot of people from the outside world don't come to the underwater temple. So that's mostly like it, but he's also a game addict. And by the way, which I said before in my last review of Let the Games Begin, they do start right here. It's like saying, let the Hunger Games begin. That's mostly, I guess, a description throughout all of this. They get entered into an underwater temple battle royale, which, oh man, the fight scenes, I am so excited. But, you know, the High Priest as well, we don't really get a lot of character development from him in this episode that we've seen so far. Just him just being an old man, him being mostly a game addict, and, you know, he starts off the game right away. And he made a deal with the Black Bulls that if you win this game against Underwater Temple Warriors, then you will get the Magic Stone. Because he knows that the Black Bulls want this Magic Stone. You know, that's why they came to the temple right here. But you can't get it too easy. You gotta work for it. You gotta play my game. So yeah, we see that in this episode, that each individual of the Black Bull go into the Underwater Temple arena and are facing off against one individual so far, which that's all we've seen from shots, and of course it leads on to the next episode. And by the way, you know, I still love this moment of Asta, and it kind of gets boring to a point where we see everyone, you know, an enemy come towards Asta, and it's like, you don't have any magic at all. Like, what's the point? I picked a loser. And then, of course, you know, Asta's gonna show him off. And we see that moment at the end of today's episode of, you know, him just saying, you know what, you think I'm a loser, but let's see. It turns out his anti-magic sword, and then it cuts the episode off there. It was kind of left to a cliffhanger, which I'm sad. But at the exact same time, since I'm late and I'm watching Black Clover, we're going to get the new episode tomorrow, which I'm still pretty happy about. I cannot wait, guys. I'm glad they're going to be focusing on a lot of this, just because the thing I want a lot for this arc is, like I said, there is a lot of stuff in it. You know, there's character development, there's a lot of action scenes, there's stuff that's going to be going towards Black Clover in the future. So I'm really hoping to do it right, but I feel like they do have a lot of time, just because we're only going into episode 43, and it will have 7 more episodes after that, which that's a lot of time. You know, every episode 22 minutes. I think they'll do it right, and they played it really good and safe. Just hopefully they don't add a little bit of stuff here or there, which they have done, you know, with some filler episodes and like that within Black Clover. But in that they added with a hilarious moment with this throughout Black Clover is they had some Gordon moments. We had Gordon. He's back. It's not really Gordon though, it's Gray just disguising himself as him. So I kind of love it that they're giving Gordon some love throughout the series, just because, you know, he's stuck at the Black Bull's base right now. He's all sad and alone. And, you know, Gray transforming him, it's a little bit of kind of like, I wouldn't really say an Easter egg, but some hints here or there that he's still with and part of the Black Bulls. But yeah, so that was today's episode, guys. With it, I feel like this episode just deserves a 7.5 out of 10 for me. You know, it was mostly just building up the hype, and just like any arc throughout the series, is that you get introduced to some characters, and then afterwards, you know, the real arc will begin. Yeah, that was my review here today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below what your guys' favorite part of this episode was. Subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated, and make sure you guys to hit that sub button as well. But either way, guys, I guess we'll see you tomorrow for episode 43 of Black Clover. Much love, guys, and as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.